Hey YouTube, it's Nova Scotia Silver. I maybe should change my name to Nova Scotia Silver Coin, Bullion, and Currency. Um, Canadian, foreign, whatever. But anyways, that's the name I picked, and I still think it suits me fairly well. Um, so I'm going to show you now the collection I have of dimes. There's some 5 cent pieces in here and quarters. Or basically in Canada, you call them 10 cent pieces, 5 cent pieces, and 25 cent pieces. So again, the 10 cent pieces are all 1967 or before, so they all contain silver. The 5 cent pieces I have in here are the earlier 5 cent pieces from Canada that are all again contain silver. They're much smaller than the current 5 cent nickels. They're now, and then the quarters are all the quarters that I have that are currently again 67 or prior, as well as all the commemorative things that I've accumulated over the years. Nothing that really has really a whole lot of extra value other than face value, but I just kind of keep one in here just to have, and I've got a few more stashed away for again if it's to split amongst between kids or whatever, then that's what I'll do. So again, as I said in my previous videos, majority of the old silver, Canadian silver I've collected has come from the purchase of a collection of my late uncle's. He passed away a number of years ago. Again, didn't know he collected. Would have been quite interesting to go through them at the time to see it. But I was still very fortunate enough to be able to purchase the collection at the time. So the dimes I'm showing right now, again, I know the video quality is not great, but again, this isn't really just for to see what I have. I mean, you can get a general idea what I've got from it. I'm not going up and close on each one. There's nothing here that's of such a high quality that it'd be a great value. But again, I just like to display them in this, just so I can pick them up and look at them every so often. The dimes, of course, even the quarters too. Those that know, I mean, these things were they wore very easily. Some are very clear, and some are a little bit hard to get the dates. You have to try, and there's some in here I don't know the dates. I stick them at the end, but I put everything in by date. This one here I've had for a little while. It's got a little chip on the shoulder, so to speak. But but always kind of interesting. I know there's a lot of people there that I've seen videos and they collect just dimes because they think again if things go bad in the world, that the dimes are going to be the things that are going to be easier to trade in for other goods because there are smaller amounts of silver in them. You're not going to have to try to find a way to melt the silver down. So anyways, but I mean, it's interesting to see different people's views. I figure right now I'm doing it for a number of different ways. If the world goes downhill quickly, or in the near future, or even in the later future, well, guess what? If this is what it comes down to trying to trade this stuff in for food or shelter, well, that's what's going to be. So hopefully, it never ever comes to that. I don't. My personal beliefs, I don't think it will. But it's just one of those things that I guess maybe you kind of have to be somewhat prepared for. It's just same as having a survival kit in the basement of your home. So anyway, again, we get through to here till we get to 1937, and they turn into the schooners, which basically have been renamed to be the Bluenose, which again, for those of you that may or may not know, Nova Scotia is home of the Bluenose, which is at one point the fastest ship in the world, and a part of the Canadian history. So it's but it was always before known as a schooner, even though everyone thought it pretty well resembled what was supposed to be the Bluenose. It was never ever called that until many years ago. Well, not that many years ago now, but to just to show the history of Canada. So anyways, again, nothing too big or spectacular here. I mean, I've got quite a few dimes, as you can tell. 60s especially seem to be a lot more of them. So there's quite a bit here. And then the end right around here, I've got some ones with dates on them that I haven't put in yet because back there, because I'll have to again reorganize everything. I've got some of the other schooners here. I know they're silver content ones, but you know, I don't know dates. They're just too worn to tell that. So I've still decided to keep them, but never know. Maybe I'll get rid of them someday. So and you know, I guess maybe even more so from a silver perspective. I guess depending on who thinks what's going to go where, but you know, these 5 cent pieces from Canada. Again, they went up to 1920 until it changed over to the basically the nickel metal. Again, a much smaller coin even than the dime, thinner and smaller in circumference. Um, so you know, you have to think, well, if people are thinking of dimes, well, maybe they think of this stuff too. But at the end of the day, these go for quite a bit more of a premium than you know, your basic dimes, especially considering the age of them and everything else too. No one's really probably going to sell that to you, you know, one of these to you for melt value. If they do, you're doing great. So if you're getting anything else in melt value too, you're doing pretty good. So anyway, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But again, previously I talked about some Newfoundland coins, and they had 50 cent pieces, or sorry, 5 cent pieces in there. Um, Basically same size, higher silver content. So something that again, if that's your thought and you need to have the silver in case things go really bad, and you want to have smaller denominations or smaller amounts, that might be the way to think about it. So the quarter collection, again, very similar to the dimes as far as some of the dates were and some of the faces are quite worn. I guess you have to understand, you know, I got one here from 1902, for instance, or I got a couple. When you're thinking about a coin that's now, you know, 111 years old, um, you know, it's going to be worn, no doubt. Um, but anyways, enough to be able to get the dates off them. They're very interesting. Um, I've enjoyed having these around. I pull out the binder every so often and do a quick look through, see what I've got. And again, I've got pretty much every year, you know, up to, or sorry, from 1902 on. Missing a couple key dates, but I think I could fill those in over time if I really wanted to. So, anyways, of course, you get into the Caribou. Again, it's pretty interesting. You can see, you know, the changes in kings, and then to the queen on the back of her coinage here is it gives you an idea. If I ever had a Jeopardy question, I had to know, you know, when did Queen Elizabeth, you know, come in, Queen Elizabeth II come in to be crowned as queen, you know, and I gotta think here. Well, you know what? In 1952, she's not on the back of the quarter. In 1953, she is. So, 1953. I mean, if you can probably tell that anyway. Now it's her golden jubilee or platinum jubilee or diamond jubilee or whatever the jubilee is now. I don't know. I don't care about that so much. So, but anyways, some interesting stuff here. Of course, you get into like the Cougars, 1967, and then a 68 I put in here as well. It does have some silver content. You can just tell from the look of it compared to other quarters it does. So, and then I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Again, you know, these are all the other commemorative stuff that Canada's put out as far as 25 cent pieces. Started in 1973, the 92 stuff. Then we got into the 99 and 2000 for the millennium. And they put other stuff again in 2002, 2004, 2005, 2006 they did a couple things. 2007 they did a couple, actually a few. They actually did quite a few. They did the Olympics. They started the Olympics in 2007 all the way to 2009. The one 2010, they did a bunch of ones in 2011. So that ends with that. There's still a few more coming up from the War of 1812 now. I'll be filling in over time. And just to also show, I came across this. I don't remember how I did it now, as I didn't punch this out myself, but I came across it. It's a toonie, and the holes do come out the middle, as you can tell. I've got the toonie here, the outside rim, and then the inside right here, which is, you know, it's kind of interesting. Another one that's kind of interesting you don't see too much is test tokens, and these are when the mint is looking to try out a new coin or develop a new style or whatever it is. They'll do test tokens. So they look just like a loonie, but they say test token Royal Canadian Mint. There's no dollar value on them. There's no effigy of the queen on them. It just has the mint symbol in the middle. So kind of a unique thing. I mean, you can find these online or at coin shops. So if you want something a little different, I know they have them for loonies and dimes and quarters and everything else too, in various different years that they came out with different designs. So I picked this up a number of years ago, and I think it's just kind of an interesting thing to have in there. So of course 99 2000, and they had the Nunavut and the polar bear. I think it says 2002, but it's supposed to be 2000, so my apologies on that. The Quebec 2008, the Boreal Forest 2011, and of course the War of 1812, the HMS Shannon in 2012. That's the 200-year anniversary. So anyways, so what's everyone's thoughts? What do you collect? What do you like? Do you just appreciate picking up like the stuff that you can find in your change, or stuff that maybe it speaks to you personally, like I mentioned before. Like for instance, this one's a Nova Scotia coin. People may pick this up because they're just from Nova Scotia. They really like that. It could be along those things. This one has a train. If you like trains, you just never know. Or again, you could be like the junk silver stuff person, or just the stuff that's older, has a bit of a history to it. What do you buy? Is it an investment, or is it an interest? Just let me know what your thoughts are, and I'm always kind of curious to see what other people do out there, and why they do it. And I'm always looking at different people's views, and I'm open to everyone's different views on why and how they collect. I know other people collect different things. I used to collect baseball and hockey cards. I still have that collection. It's really not worth much, unfortunately. And parts of me has been thinking maybe selling it to put more into this, but I haven't come to grips with that yet. That was something I did when I was, elementary school. And I've got a few good ones in there, but most of it's not. So, but anyway, so let me know what your thoughts are there in the YouTube community on coin collecting. Whether no matter where you're from, what country you're from, what you like to collect, or what you want to stay away from. Always kind of curious what everyone thinks out there. Again, I watch a lot of people's videos, and I think some people there that are followed quite a bit, and they always have some interesting conversations, and it gets me thinking a little bit more about my own stuff. I kind of look at it in a different light than maybe some people, and I also think of his approach. I try not to get emotions too involved with this stuff, but sometimes you do, because sometimes there's something you really like, really want, and unfortunately sometimes you pay more for it. And of course we all probably make those mistakes somewhere along the line. And so what do you do? How do you make it work? If you're on a tight budget, how do you do it? I've seen that out there. If you're concerned, right now my concern has now become more on a safety security issue than anything else. Again, what I have from a collection perspective is not worth hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that. No, it's not even close. But it's still worth a lot, what I consider to be a lot, many thousands of dollars. It's pretty easy for someone to pick up and take off with it, unfortunately. So I've been toying with the idea of putting insurance on, and so I have a vault here, or a safe, a decent sized safe, that I think I'm going to put a lot of this stuff in. What are your thoughts on that? So anyways, I know I put a bunch of questions, and I'll keep firing some more videos on YouTube, and hopefully you're enjoying it. Hopefully the community there will accept me coming into it, and I know I really appreciate the videos I watched for the last number of months, and I finally got the nerve up to start posting stuff. So and that's thanks to a friend of there for sure. So anyways, hope you enjoy, and I'll keep them coming.